The young store employee sighed so hard you'd think Terrence had asked him to solve world hunger. "Could you maybe check?" Terrence asked politely, holding up a box of speakers. "I just want to be sure before I buy them." The guy snatched the box, flipped it over lazily, and mumbled, "Says here they're weatherproof," before tossing it back. Not a single hint of care. Terrence forced a calm smile. "Okay. Do you know if they're compatible with most devices?" The employee rolled his eyes. "Look, man, all the details are right there on the box. You can read it yourself or pick something else. Doesn't matter to me." A heavy silence fell. Around them, the faint buzz of the air conditioning mixed with distant chatter. Terrence could feel the tension sink into his shoulders. This wasn't just inattentiveness. This was dismissiveness, a kind that cut deep. He looked around. Other customers were being treated with warmth, especially a white couple near the front, laughing with another employee who was walking them through features like he actually cared. But when Terrence, a tall black man dressed in casual clothes, asked a question, he was treated like a burden. He swallowed the bitterness rising in his throat. "You seem busy," he said evenly. "Is there someone else who might be able to help?" The employee smirked, a small, cruel curl of his lip. "Don't think anyone's free right now. Just figure it out, all right?" Terrence felt the words like a slap. He wasn't angry, at least not yet, just disappointed. Because this wasn't just rudeness. It was something uglier. The employee turned and walked off, tapping on his phone as if Terrence didn't exist. For a moment, Terrence just stood there, gripping the box. Then he put it back on the shelf and took a slow breath. He could have walked out. He could have said nothing. But something told him to stay. Because what Terrence didn't realize was that this small moment of disrespect would expose something much deeper about the company, his company. If you've ever been underestimated, disrespected, or treated like you didn't belong, hit that like button, because this one's gonna hit home. Terrence wandered deeper into the store, pretending to browse. He needed to see if this was an isolated bad apple or a sign of something rotten. In the clothing section, a young Latina employee was folding shirts. She greeted him with a bright smile. "Hey there, sir. Let me know if you need help with anything, okay?" Her tone was warm, genuine, a breath of fresh air. He watched as she helped an elderly man find a matching tie, laughing softly when he joked about not knowing his own size. That was the kind of attitude I wanted representing my brand. Maybe, Terrence thought, it was just one employee having a bad day. But then, in the home goods aisle, he overheard two voices, young, snickering, hushed. "That guy over there," one of them tilted his chin towards Terrence, "is probably just here to browse. People like him never buy anything big." The other chuckled. "Yeah, he doesn't look like he's got the cash for this stuff. Probably just wasting time." Terrence froze. His chest tightened. He didn't look up, just ran a finger along the edge of a box, pretending to read. People like him. They didn't know who he was. Didn't know that the store they were standing in, the one they were mocking customers in, was part of the very company he built from the ground up. He clenched his jaw, every instinct screaming to confront them. But he didn't do it. Not yet. He needed to see how deep this went. At the checkout counter, a middle-aged black woman named Denise greeted him with a professional smile. "Did you find everything okay today?" He hesitated. "Not exactly. I think I'll hold off for now." Her expression softened with understanding. "All right, sir. If you need anything, just let us know. We're here to help." Her warmth was genuine, and for a moment it eased the sting. Not everyone here had forgotten what respect looked like. But as he walked out the door, the feeling of disappointment came crashing back. Because this wasn't just one rude employee. This was a reflection of something he feared he'd lost control of. A culture that no longer reflected his values. He sat in his car for a long minute, staring at the logo printed above the store entrance. His logo. This business was supposed to be built on opportunity, fairness, and respect. But somewhere along the way, as the company grew, something got lost. He remembered the early days, training every manager himself, shaking every new hire's hand, preaching one rule above all: treat every customer like family. Now some of those same family members were out here making people like him feel small. He gripped the steering wheel, his reflection hardening in the glass. That ended today. Terrence walked back inside. He didn't raise his voice, didn't make a scene. He went straight to the customer service desk. "Can I speak to the store manager, please?" Moments later, a man in his late 40s appeared. Brian, his name tag read. Professional, courteous smile, but wary. "How can I help you today, sir?" Terrence extended his hand. "Terrence Hall." Brian blinked. The name hit him like a brick. "Mr. Hall?" As in, yeah, Terrence nodded calmly. "The owner." The color drained from Brian's face. "Sir, if I'd known you were coming..." "That's the point," Terrence interrupted, voice steady. "You weren't supposed to know." I took a slow breath. I came here as a customer to see how things really run when no one's watching. And what I saw today, it wasn't good. I recounted everything. The dismissive employee, the whispers, the contrast between kindness and bias. His words were measured, but the disappointment cut deeper than anger ever could. "This isn't about one bad apple," he said quietly. "It's about a culture that allowed this to happen. I built this company on respect, and today I saw the opposite of that." Brian swallowed hard. "Sir, I didn't know about these issues. I always try to..." "I believe you," Terrence said, "but clearly something's slipping through the cracks. And that's not just on you, it's on me. I let distance replace accountability. That ends today." He asked Brian to gather the staff. Within minutes, every employee stood in the break room, some curious, some nervous. The young man from electronics looked pale, his smirk long gone. Terrence stepped forward. "Good afternoon," he began evenly. "For those of you who don't know me, my name is Terrence Hall. I'm the founder and CEO of this company. And today, I came here undercover to see how this store really treats its customers." The room fell silent. You could hear the hum of the vending machine. "What I saw was troubling. Some of you treated me and others with respect and professionalism. That's what this company stands for. But others failed to meet the most basic standard of decency." He turned his gaze towards the electronics clerk. The young man couldn't meet his eyes. "You dismissed me, ignored me, and made it clear I wasn't worth your time. That's not just bad service, it's disrespect. Worse, I overheard employees judging customers by how they looked. That stops now." The silence was thick with shame. "I'm not here to embarrass anyone," he said softly but firm. "I'm here to fix this. Because when we fail to treat people with respect, we fail as a company and as human beings." He paused, letting the words settle. "Starting today, every employee will undergo training on bias and customer service. Not just here, but in every store we own. We are rebuilding this culture from the ground up." Some employees nodded, especially Denise standing near the back. "I'll also be visiting stores in person, unannounced, not to catch people off guard, but to stay connected. I want to see this company's values in action." He looked around the room, eyes softer now. "If you ever feel something isn't right, speak up. I'll make sure there's a safe way to do that. No one should fear honesty in a company built on trust." Finally, he smiled faintly. "I started this business to build something better, a place where everyone, no matter who they are, feels valued. Somewhere along the way, we lost that, but we can get it back, together." As the meeting ended, he walked over to Denise. "Thank you," he said sincerely. "You reminded me what this company is supposed to stand for." She smiled warmly. "Thank you, Mr. Hall. I just try to treat people how I'd want to be treated." Outside, as Terrence stepped into the fading afternoon light, he felt something shift inside him, a mix of anger, humility, and hope. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but sometimes you need to see the cracks up close before you can rebuild stronger. He glanced back at the store, then smiled faintly. Back to work, he muttered to himself. Because real change doesn't start in boardrooms. It starts right here, in the small moments, when someone chooses respect over pride. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button and share it with someone who believes in doing the right thing even when it's hard. And remember, sometimes karma doesn't wait. It walks in wearing your name tag. Subscribe for more stories where justice always finds its way.